Marines with skin condition affecting mostly black men could now be booted under a new policy. A new Marine Corps policy says troops with a genetic skin condition that can cause pain and scarring from shaving and mainly affects black men can be separated if the health issue persists. The interim guidance issued Thursday gives military healthcare providers 90 days to reevaluate Marines diagnosed with pseudophallus barbae or at PFB if they don't recover based on a 4-phase treatment program outlined in the message, have to remain on a shaving waiver for more than a year, and a commander deems it fit, the Corps can administratively separate them due to incompatibility with service. So basically you can get discharged from the military because you have shaving bumps. But it's racism. Targeted at black people.
Pure racism. That's pure racism. All right, y'all. Back to the episode.
How does that affect their performance?
Peace and blessings, y'all. This is DVJ&MICHELLE. This is the Cold World Podcast. So I'm going to start this episode off with this funny video clip, right? It's of this lady. It's at a bar in Indianapolis. And these Trumpers walked in, you know what I mean? With their little MAGA hats on and shit. And the bartender wasn't having it. She told them to get the hell out the bar. And they were like, you don't want our money? And she was like, hell no, we don't want your money. Get out this bar. About a 2-minute video. Alright, here we go, y'all.
I'm not. I have a question. No, we're not answering
Why?
questions. Get
Why?
out.
Why?
Because you're a Trump supporter.
I know, but don't you guys want our money?
No, actually we don't.
I have a question.
No, we're not answering
Why?
questions. Get out of the bar.
Why?
Because you're a Trump supporter.
I know, but don't you guys want our money?
No, actually we don't. Get out of my bar right now. You're not welcome. I'm not fucking around. Get out of my bar.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Out.
I'm gonna run it back one more time. This shit's funny as hell, y'all.
I have a question.
No, we're not answering
Why?
questions. Get out of the bar.
Why?
Because you're a Trump supporter.
I know, but don't you guys want our money?
No, actually we don't. Get out of my bar right now. You're not welcome. I'm not fucking around. Get out of my bar.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Out.
Because I'm wearing a Trump
Yes.
vest. That's why.
I don't care. Get out.
We can call the police, or you can just leave.
You know this is like discrimination, right?
Oh, boo-hoo! Boo-fucking-hoo! Get out of my bar.
What the hell do Trump supporters know about discrimination? Other than discriminating against other people.
Pavement. I'm on my way out shit right now. Phantom Empire. I feel like I'm in the past life.
What?
You know, maybe a future one.
You see it?
Nigga. You see it? Can't sleep, can't eat. Got me on a mission. Sitting in the kitchen. Think about the guns. I need the brand new additions. Now I need the level head. Demons on my back. Cause I'm thinking with the devil's head. Allah provide me the sword. So I can cut the devil's head. We got a hold on the ghetto. We forever dead. Cause niggas walk around like zombies. It's us versus them. And we can't even see they army. They coming through the airways. Internet bombing. They put the squeeze on like Charmin. This shit is too deep for the dum-dums. Condos in the hood now. Fuck where they come from. They take the hood and disintegrate it. And got the nerve to say they motherfucking renovating. And got the nerve to say they motherfucking integrating. All they did is fuck the ghetto when they penetrated. I keep my third eye up. Now my eyes wide shut. Cause I don't sell my soul. I'm no high-price slut. I'm a rebel in the land of the peasants. On the front line when they rise up, the poor shall inherit the earth. For what it's worth, you see a devil, fucking nigga kill him at birth. Cause these are the signs of the last days. Loading up the guns while I blow on the last haze. Word, nigga.
Peace and blessings, y'all. This is DVJ&MICHELLE. This is a Cold World Podcast, y'all. It's Monday, March 18th. No, my bad. March 17th. March 17th, 2025, y'all. About to get some clothes and this laundry here, get some coffee going. Let's get to this episode. Prince is better than Michael Jackson. Enjoy the music for about a minute. I'm throwing clothes in if you hear rustling, rumbling. Thanks for listening to today's episode, y'all. This is DVJ&MICHELLE, and this is a Cold World Podcast coming to you from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, y'all. Enjoy. So I got a question, y'all. But that's at Diggable Planets, too. Let's roll that out for a minute. I'm just heading to work. You know what's crazy about this song, right? Well, this is the best album. This is the best. Well, it's between. If I'm just quick thinking. My bad, y'all. I've been up for about a whole 45 minutes. It's between Mos Def's Black on Both Sides and that Diggable Planets Blowout Cone. It's between those two albums are my favorite rap albums. I didn't say those are my two favorite rap artists. I'm saying those are my two favorite rap albums. So I don't know which one I like better. It's close. But they're talking, that song, dude, is just talking about, you know what I'm saying, Roe v. Wade, and like men not wanting women in control and power and control for the most part, and just all this stuff. And this album was made in the late 90s, y'all. Wow. Talking about fascism and all that shit. It's that Blowout Cone. This album is the shit. No skips. You can just let the whole thing play. Go check that out. Diggable Planets Blowout Cone. right. Land of the free, but not me. He's saying not for us black and brown people. It almost feels like we're in an open-air prison. You know what I mean? It's like, you can do this, but you can't quite do that. You can only, you know what I mean? You feel like, kind of like, you know what I mean? You can't just always be your whole self. Kind of like how I feel, just being on parole, right? It's just like, I only feel like 80% of a whole person. You know what I mean? Until I get off of this. Like I said, I got about a year left to go. So, that's what it'd be killing me, man, when I'll be seeing and hearing people talking, when it comes to, like, prison stuff and just, like, how this stuff works, because, like, unfortunately, I know how, you know, this stuff works. So when I see and hear things, you know, that are off or not right or that aren't accurate, I'm able to call that shit out because I know. A lot of times when I'll be hearing these stories, I can literally, like, put myself in that environment. Like, I can picture how all that stuff plays out and everything. Like, when people are talking about court and going back and forth to court and how all that works, I know how that shit works, unfortunately. You know what I mean? All right, y'all. I got a short work day, but I'm going to get to it. I'm just sipping on my little coffee. And, yeah. Enjoy today's episode. Do something good for somebody. And just, you know, I would ask that you listen to our podcast with an open mind. Because you got to consider, you know what I mean? I talk about stuff, you know what I'm saying? Michelle talks about stuff. We talk about things from our lens, from our life experiences, you know what I'm saying? From how we see the world and how the world has treated us. You know what I mean? So, consider that, you know, when you're listening and you hear, you know, myself or Michelle, you know, we're talking about, you know, racism or all that kind of stuff, stereotypes, all that stuff. You have to, you know, put yourself in our shoes just for a minute. That's one of the things that I think we're horrible at as people is just, you know, putting ourselves in someone else's shoes. Like, a person doesn't have to just straight up have lived another person's life experience, like, totally and shit. But you don't need to have, like, literally lived their life experience to be able to, like, place yourself in that situation, like, and be like, okay, well, I wonder what it would be like if I was in this position. And you can kind of mentally put yourself in there and just kind of like, and be like, man, yeah, I wouldn't like that. I probably wouldn't like that if this was my circumstance or that was my circumstance. I probably would think this way too or feel that way too if life was like this or blah, blah, blah. But for some reason, we can't seem to do that. I don't know what that is. But we call ourselves so intelligent as human beings, but it'll be some of the, just be like, man, that ain't that difficult to figure out. Or just like, you know what I mean? But anyways. And my other question would be like, so, because I know like white people, when they either get called a racist or if someone suggests that their behavior is either borderline racist or it's, you know what I mean? Like, you know, they're being bogus or, you know, or whatever, inconsiderate, whatever this shit is, right? They'll get bent out of shape sometimes. It's like a white person hates being called a racist, and they should if they're not racist. But it's like they hate being called racist, but so like if no, and like they never want to admit that they are, or like no one wants to admit that they're racist, but racism is still a thing in this country and in this world. So then, if no one wants to claim to be a racist, well then who's racist? Like, where are the racist people at? Because we know racism still is a thing, right? Unfortunately, it's here to stay. It's never going to go away. And the majority of the racist people in this world have white skin. I said the majority. And that's the thing. that you know, that's up for debate. You know, people talking about, can black people be racist? Can they? I think that we can in moments, not in totality. Like normally, because normally black people aren't in a position where we can uproot, change, alter, you know, somebody else's life, like a white individual's life or whatever, you know, for the negative. For the most part, we're not in positions where we can affect their lives, like financially. Like most times, like we're not going to be able to take a job away from a white person because we're not going to be the CEO or the owner of the company or the supervisor or whatever, you know, doing the hiring and firing. I said most times. You know what I mean? No. Because most of the time it's going to be a white employer. You know, they're going to own the place and all that kind of. They're going to be the ones making the decisions and control in the power position. You know what I mean? Usually doing the hiring and firing, it's going to be somebody white. So they can be racist towards somebody black. Whether it's, you know, them just not calling you back because they noticed the name on the application says LaMarcus Johnson versus it saying Eric Kosakowski. My shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, if no one's racist, well then who's racist? You know what I mean? Because some white people, they'll get bent the fuck out of shape. You call them a racist. It's like, well, you sure are acting like one. That shit that came out your mouth certainly sounded pretty racist. I'm just throwing a scenario out there. So it's like, we know that racism's still here, but nobody wants to admit that they're racist. So then where are the racist people at? But anyways, like, I feel like, I'm just going to change the subject real quick because a different thought spurned in my mind. So it's St. Patty's Day today. It's Monday. But it feels like it was St. Patty's Day all damn weekend. For a minute, I thought St. Patty's Day was Friday because I seen people out Friday morning. I know when I was dropping Michelle off at work, I seen people look like they had been drinking already. I saw the green beads and stuff on people. I saw a lady, she had the green glowing beads around her neck. It was at like 6 something in the morning when I took Michelle to work. That was Friday. I'm like, oh, it's St. Patty's already? And then Saturday they were drinking. Yesterday they were drinking and stuff. So, is this like the day for like white people to be off? So they can drink? Because black people, I mean, you're going to see, excuse me, you'll see a few black people participating in that. You know what I'm saying? Like normally, like when you see that, it'll be the one black dude, and it'll be like him, and like he'll be with like 3 or 4 of his white buddies, and he'll be the only black dude, and then he'll be participating in all that shit, wearing all the green and the leprechaun bullshit and all that. You'll be like, damn, dog, it just don't look right. And there ain't nothing wrong with black people celebrating and hanging out with their friends. That's, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, dog. You know what I'm saying? It's just the look, the optics of it don't match up to me. That's all I'm saying. But to each his own, though. You know what I mean? But you ain't gonna see me out dressed all in green and doing all that shit for a few reasons. You know what I mean? Yep, I'm just out here doing my delivery route. Yeah. Get the store up before I go home, and then, yeah, that's it.
Aces in the heart, man. Beat my heart, man. Ghosts coming out of the back page. Trying to read my book before I get to the last page. Trying to hurry up, cause I know it's the last days. Do it for the love of the money. Get rich, couple niggas start hugging. Man, where the love at? It ain't the streets, it was replaced by hate. Where the hoodie and the gloves at? Show them niggas where the stars at. Fuck this white race, shrug rat, slug in the skull cat. This is sharp nose, dull rat. So move on, nigga, I'm too high, nigga. Fuck with me, that'll be the day that you die, nigga. If you heard me, you gon' die, cause it's alive, nigga. Arrow to see in the dark from two eyes, nigga. On a hawk that'll poke out your two eyes, nigga.
From young men, shot up, product to society, contributing to living, describe the life diary, riot. We don't tire, words required, and spit it to its entirety. Thought it can't be like the movie for the Apache in the Bronx. He ignored his last piece of crime. All he came to was mine. Bottom line, out of luck, out of buck, out of junk, suck the time. Got split, balance, kicks, anxiety, fiery. Adrenaline, elements, imminent. Fellow went boom. Stepped out his room, ready for throne. Get to see, he don't know any busted the wicked feet. Misery, trickery, get to smoke, like they could read. Better have a epiphany. Focus, hope, like a Tiffany laugh. He did, he thought, it's kid, it's all been dread. Knew he had to hold his inmates. Yeah, the future pain business are simply faded, rather therapeutical. It's cool, you have a beautiful life. Live on, try hard, be strong. Why die when you can fly high as you live on? From young men, shot up, follow to society, contributing to living, describe the life diary. It's very respect, sure. It's very respect, sure. Bring teams of b-ball, backed up and tagged up on the wall. Mischievous views and hallways, never got all days and hustle small way. Rocking them big rings, dip bling to get things fan. Even fish through the gram, hit school strand, smooth in my way. Juvenile tendency, Juve deck low, ghetto dependency.
It's Monday, y'all. The coffee's good. Shout out Collectivo Coffee. Let's get back to the episode.
Remember this? Holy bitch! I'm trying to go hard, get respect like B.I. Light a rapper up, put him out like a C.I. Niggas watching me too close, like a P.I. Wanna see me locked up north on a P.I. But I'm too swift for him, being full fit for him. Police chasing the hood, dog, I'ma skip on him. High depth to my surroundings, plus I stay grounded. Many times is good and well-rounded. For any motherfucker think he can take mine, I do life and death before I do shake time. It's a hate crime, you fucking with the bully, homie. Shot front, burner in the hoodie on it, even keep chirping. Arms still chirping, bullets roll his waves like they were surfing. Nothing but kill and take, homie just meditate. Now that's what happens with a monkey fuck with an ape. Can't rest, can't sleep, can't eat, plan A, don't work in the bone, the plan B. Eating the family, friends, second boys, learn the man lesson. Red earners, flip around the man expressing. Beat rest, I beat rest instead of progress. You could die tomorrow from the burbs to the projects. Anybody's a target, bullseye, please move on and get hit with the horns. I got the bullseyes, no bullshit. I ain't full of shit, wish I was full of shit. Then I would've ate right and I ain't got the bullet clip. You ain't met a rap on no other shit. Strap off, yeah, I'm good with it. Make it feel good to see the people up on it. I'm down to the ground, give me everything that I wanted. Everything is everything. I'm in the hood, blended in the S600. It's nighttime, but I got the breakfast stomach.
Don't you dare call a black man a savage after you murdered him. Don't you dare do that. I'm so sick of African Americans being called violent when the world's worst violence was done to them, not by them, to them, not by them. For God's sake, you want to do racist stereotypes? If it fit anywhere, and it doesn't. But if it fit anywhere, it would certainly fit white right-wingers in the South who has hundreds of years of history of being savages. Don't you dare call a black man a savage after you murdered him. Don't you dare do that. I'm so sick sick of African Americans being called violent when the world's worst violence was done to them, not by them, to them, not by them. For God's sake, you want to do racist stereotypes? If it fit anywhere, and it doesn't. But if it fit anywhere, it would certainly fit white right-wingers in the South, who has hundreds of years of history of being savages. Savages. They snatched babies.
Monsters.
And they sold them as property, and they raped their mothers. Savages. They snatched babies. And they sold them as property, and they raped their mothers. Savages. That's what they were. You want to talk about stereotypes? Screw all of you who still defend that Confederacy, that monstrosity. Anyone who defends that is a barbaric savage.
That's why they don't want to teach American history in public schools. That's why there's been a strong orchestrated effort to prevent the teaching of anything that you just mentioned right now. Because, hey, God forbid that, children learn about the real savages in this country's history.
No lies detected. So this is from the Associated Press, too, saying that the appeals court lifts blocks on President Trump's executive orders restricting diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. See what this says real quick, y'all. It's just like every day. Appeals court lifts blocks on Trump's orders restricting diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. And this is by Lindsay Whitehurst. So, an appeals court on Friday lifted a block on executive orders seeking to end government support for diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, handing the Trump administration a win after a string of setbacks defending President Trump's agenda from dozens of lawsuits. The decision from a 3-judge panel allows the orders to be enforced as a lawsuit challenging them plays out. The appeals court judges halted a nationwide injunction from U.S. District Judge Adam Abelson in Baltimore. 2 of the judges on the 4th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals wrote that Trump's anti-DEI push could eventually raise concerns about First Amendment rights, but said the judge's sweeping block went too far. Quote, "My vote should not be understood as agreement with the order's attack on efforts to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion," Judge Pamela Harris wrote. 2 of the panel's members were appointed by President Barack Obama, while the 3rd was appointed by Trump. Abelson had found the orders likely violated free speech rights and are unconstitutionally vague since they don't have a specific definition of DEI. Trump signed an order his first day in office directing federal agencies to terminate all equity-related grants or contracts. How is that not racist, y'all? Tell me how that's not racist. How is that not racist? And the reason that, I'm just saying we had to create these kind of programs and give them these titles and names and stuff is because of the racism. It's because we've been excluded from shit and left out and not given our rights and all that shit. That's why all that stuff was created. So what they're doing is pure racism, y'all. The city of Baltimore and other groups sued the Trump administration, arguing the executive orders are an unconstitutional overreach of presidential authority. The Justice Department has argued that the president was targeting only DEI programs that violate federal civil rights laws. Government attorneys said the administration should be able to align federal spending with the president's priorities. Abelson, who was nominated by Democratic President Joe Biden, agreed with the plaintiffs that the executive orders discourage businesses, organizations, and public entities from openly supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion. Efforts to increase diversity long have been under attack by Republicans, who contend the measures threaten merit-based hiring, promotion, and educational opportunities for white people. White people don't need a leg up. That's what white privilege is called. Here's an example. You could take you could have two homeless people, right? Whatever their situation is, however they became homeless or whatever, right? You could have a black homeless person and a white homeless person, right? Let's just say two men. You could get both of them cleaned up, you know what I mean? Get them an ID and shit like that, just, you know what I mean? Hook them up and shit or whatever. Some clothes, get them a haircut, you know, get them prepared to go look for a job, right? Who do you think would get either an interview or hired first? Because I don't care how bummy and how homeless and how fucked up the white dude is, like just how out and just down and out and just, he's just, right, got nothing, right, looking a mess, just all bummed out, right, probably getting high and all, so they're just fucked up, right? Same thing, black person too, right? They're just all fucked up, doped out, just homeless, just fucked up, right? Just out of it, looking a mess. You could get the white dude cleaned up, get him a haircut, get him some clothes, some fresh clothes and shit like that, and send him in for a job application. He would probably get hired. His application would, just because his name, let's say that the white homeless guy's name is, let's say, Tim Erickson. And the brother, his name is Jamal Watkins. Who you think's going to get that call back? That's why I was saying, like, just based off that white skin, is just going to get them more of a chance. You're going to be able to go through more doors. Just because, like, overall, people are going to be more trusting of white people. They're not going to be getting looked at as, like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how a lot of white people look at black people. I don't care how successful you are. You're still always going to be just a black person to them. And the only time usually, like, them white people, them white supremacist people and shit like that, or just like white people in general, like that I would say a Republican, you know why they navigate towards, like, black Republicans and, like, black MAGA people and shit like that? Because here's the thing. You see this stuff play out sometimes, like, right, you'll have, like, let's say you'll have, like, a black Republican, right? You know, like, you might hear somebody black, right, and they might be, like, kind of, like, criticizing, like, other black people, saying how we're lazy and how we do this, right, just kind of kind of sounding like how somebody white and that's racist would sound, right, or like a Trumper, like a white Trumper. Or, you know, white people that just don't understand black people and just, they think we're lazy and shiftless and all that, and just, all the stereotypes, right? So you could have a black person kind of saying similar things about other black people, like, you know, criticizing or whatever, and that white person will hear that black person speaking like that, and they'll attach to it and navigate and stick to that person because that's how they feel about black people. And then, so when they hear another black person saying that kind of stuff, they jump all over it. You see that happening here in Milwaukee on a radio station, 101.7 The Truth, that Tory Lowe show. Dude's a black Republican, a Trumper. And there's this white dude that calls all this time. His name is Eddie, right? He's been calling the show ever since it started because he was probably listening to the show and then heard Tory, who's black, he's a Republican, heard him, like, talking, you know, saying stuff about black people or whatever, just, you know, how he feels about black people. So he'll be hearing that stuff, and then now it's like it's his favorite person now. He's become part of the show. He's always calling, all this shit. But anyways, so, you know, that's pretty irritating. But that's what they do. Because, like, a lot of white people, they think, like, black people are supposed to be a certain way, act a certain way. They think, like, all black people are supposed to be like Bill Cosby type. I'm talking about, like, as far as the show, like how the family was. Mom was a lawyer, dad was a doctor. You know what I mean? Like, all that. They think, like, like the square black family. You know what I mean? That's how white people think all black people should be. You know what I mean? They don't want you to have no flavor, no little style. They don't want, you know what I mean? Like, they hate rap music. They hate some of them white people. They don't like NBA basketball because they think, you know, black ball players are lazy and they're making millions of dollars and aren't earning it and shit and aren't serious about it. There's still that narrative out there. That's kind of went away a little bit. I'm having a cigarette. But I know, like, back in the day when I was younger and stuff, I know that was one of the narratives of white people that didn't like NBA basketball. And you would ask them why they don't like it, and they'd be like, oh, they're lazy, they don't play as hard. And then they'll say how they like college ball because they play more and it seems like they want it more and all that shit. No, a lot of times that'd just be the white people that talk like that. They'll be saying that because they're racist and or they're horrible at sports. Because we'll be doing some of the stuff that they wish they could do athletically and they can't. So it's almost like borderline amazing to them. Why do you think they love Michael Jordan so much and shit like that? And like just something, it's like that's the only time they kind of will show us any kind of respect or whatever you want to call it, is when we're entertaining them. You know them white people don't like Giannis that much here in Milwaukee, but he won a championship. And he does what they can't do. You ever notice that? Just think about that. One of the only areas that, I'm saying in totality, not everyone, but for the most part, white people, one area where they show black people some kind of respect, or I don't even really want to call it that, but you know what I mean? Because like I noticed that the other day, like last night I was watching the Bucks game, and they were showing they were signing autographs and shit. It was a black ball player, and it was just like all white kids and white people like getting autographs, and I'm just sitting there like, in most any other situation, they would not be kissing this black person's ass, asking for their autograph and all like that, treating them like a king. But it's like we're doing something they literally can't do. And they're amazed by it, by the athleticism, like some of the stuff we can do and all that shit. They're amazed by it. But in true reality, they hate your guts, just like as a human being. Because if they didn't know, like, you were bald, like, if they didn't know Giannis was, they would just think, oh, that's just some tall black dude. Or you do get stereotyped. If you're tall and black, everyone just think, oh, dude plays basketball. Shit, that don't mean nothing. They might be a doctor. All right, y'all. But that was from the Associated Press, the stuff I was just reading to y'all. All right, let's get back to the episode. LOX, this one's called My America.
My mama don't call like she used to. I'm a shadow of the person that I used to be. Oh Lord, I'm tired. Crazy. Yeah. This shit got me wild. It's crazy. Yeah. I said I woke up in a state of confusion, in the search for absolution, pondering the absolute. It's sad but true. Missed call from my kinfolk. So my auntie ain't making it. More liquor and syringes on the pavement. Oh goddamn, I'm down on my luck. Can you send one up for me? See, my clothes don't fit like they used to. My mama don't call like she used to. I'm a shadow of the person that I used to be. See, oh Lord, I'm tired. These streets got me wild.
Yeah, them cold bodies fit up under them rugs. It's a circus out this bitch. Amazing how we juggling drugs. Hunting for holes, the cars work good in them clubs. Shots go off, time to leave, nigga, let's breathe. Young bitch shot in the head, think it came from the trees in that direction. She laying there with my complexion. To the son my protection. I'm tired though, you're teaching me some shit that I ain't know. Shit get wrinkled, I show exactly where the iron go. And they only stick around when you buzzing. That's the problem with the locks. I remember one time when we wasn't. I'm hip hop like the Juice Crew, but my mama don't call like she used to. Bunch of phony niggas, hard to see who's who. Just parties, you ain't around when the bills due. All for the gram, on social media kills you, nigga.
I woke up in a state of confusion, in the search for absolution. I'm looking for absolute. It's sad but true. Missed call from my kinfolk, so my auntie ain't make it. Mall liquor incidents on the pavement. Oh goddamn, I'm down on my luck. Can you send enough for me? See, my clothes don't fit like they used to. My mama don't call like she used to. I'm a shadow with a person that I used to be. See, oh Lord, I'm tired. These streets got me wild.
I lose so much when I'm a winner. Demons done got my soul, made me a sinner. Clothes don't fit no more, I'm getting thinner. It could be the middle of summer, I'm feeling winter. My heart ain't colder than the freezing is. See my baby girl gone, but I need a kid. Why you think I take a shot and get weed a kid? Only thing we got is God, gotta believe in him. Couple homies locked up, don't know what freedom is. If the Lord come now, I gotta leave with him. Oh God, I'm tired, so lift the trauma up. Hold my son and my wife and call my mama up. I get high to not cry and frown a lot. I done cried enough tears to try to block. All I know is keep faith in the man above. I feel pain, so I spread the joy, spread the love.
Am I down on my luck? Can you send enough for me? See, my clothes don't fit like they used to. My mama don't call like she used to. I'm a shadow with a person that I used to be. See, oh Lord, I'm tired. These streets got me wild.
Real talk. Yeah. Yo, tired of hearing about what I didn't do. Yes, I am going home, cause I got shit to do. Things ain't been all good now, but I'm getting through. I'm giving you real talk, I ain't bullshitting you. Life is a bitch, you can tell her when you see her.
Hey, baby.
Yeah.
So that story about there's a story about this Bradley Bartell and Camila Munoz.
Okay.
So the dude, this Bradley Bartell, he voted for Trump.
Okay.
And now his wife sits in an ICE detention center. This is from USA Today. So it said Bradley Bartell, I was thinking about basketball. Bradley Bartell and Camila Munoz, sorry, I mean the sandwich. And Camila Munoz had a familiar small-town love story before they collided with immigration politics. So it sounds like she was at least for Harris. They met through mutual friends, had a first date at the local steakhouse, married after 2 years, and were saving to buy a house and have kids. Munoz was already caring for Bartell's now 12-year-old son as her own. But last month, there's a Wisconsin tie to this. Didn't know that. But last month, on their way home to Wisconsin after honeymooning in Puerto Rico, an immigration agent pulled Munoz aside in the airport. "Are you an American citizen?" asked the agent. She answered no, she wasn't. She's from Peru. But she and her husband had taken the legal steps so that one day she might get U.S. citizenship. So, basically, we all know what happened next.
Yeah.
But, do you feel sympathy for him?
No.
Me either. I mean, I feel bad for his wife, but dude, you literally got your wife deported.
Yeah. Because, Biden was never going to go after people like her.
Exactly.
Them
Trumpers have to be kicking themselves. Even if it's just when they're alone. They gotta be like, fuck. Because they're literally seeing their own family members get moved around and kicked out and, you know, all this, getting fired, you know, these federal work, all this stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
There's no way Trumpers are not being affected by this stuff. Because they're federal workers and all this stuff too, right, baby?
Yeah. And like, who's he going to blame?
Who, Trumpy?
No, this guy, Brad.
Right. Himself. When he's alone, when it's just him, he's got to be like, someone like him, he has to be like.
Well, he didn't mean them. He didn't mean people like her.
That's exactly what he did. And
She's
he was
not
probably,
a criminal.
because it says that they used to have like debates about that stuff. So you're right, that's what probably some of the conversation. He was probably telling her, oh, well, he ain't going to, you know, he's not going to do that to you. Look what's happening.
Right.
But that's what's so frustrating. We were trying to tell people this.
Right.
And I'm sure she was saying that to him.
Right.
Like, hey, you know, like I could get kicked out the country or whatever, and I was playing out.
He's talking about criminals. Well.
You're being treated like one.
Right.
Oh, and then there's another story, too, right? This Trump supporter dude, he was at one of those town hall meetings, right?
Yeah.
This was in North Carolina. So CNN got him on the air. They were interviewing him and stuff. And he's sponsoring a Ukrainian family. Okay. So now, you know, the Ukrainians, their visas are being revoked and shit. So now he's all up in arms and mad about that. But if you're a Trump supporter, you knew he was kicking out the black and brown migrants and you were okay with that.
Right.
That's racism. Is that a good example? That's an example of racism because you're supporting a Ukrainian family, a white family.
Yeah.
And now that they're being kicked out, now it's a problem. But you knew ahead of time before you voted for Trump that he wanted the black and brown migrants out, and you supported that.
Right.
So how isn't that racism? Or how is a black and brown person, how would I not think that's racism?
Right. I don't know how you would justify that difference.
That's what I'm saying. And those would be the things that some white people would be telling us to get over, or we're just imagining stuff.
Yeah. Just looking for a specific pair or something.
Yeah, on a side note, yeah, Michelle and I, we did she has a lot of clothes, y'all. Let me just tell you.
I do. I'm just looking for my gray sweatpants.
Gray sweatpants.
That
I folded up some.
Are like ribbed.
Those might still be dirty.
Oh.
I had 4 loads. I only did 2 loads. So I got only 2 loads. There's like 2 more to wash and then a load of pee pads. So they're probably in that bunch.
Okay. They're just really comfortable.
Yeah, I want you to let me know how the coffee is too. Yeah. I did a mix. I did a mix of the Collectivo, the dark, and then a mix of the medium. Okay. So we'll see how that turns out. Yeah, so I'm going to give Michelle a cup of coffee in her. There's actually a video or article on this, the stuff Michelle and I were just talking about, but we won't bore y'all with that. Let's see. In addition to Munoz, USA Today has confirmed through attorneys, family members, and documents that ICE has detained for weeks a woman in her 50s who has lived in the country more than 30 years and is married to a U.S. citizen, a woman in her 30s with proof of valid permanent legal residency whose father and siblings are U.S. citizens and who first came to the U.S. as a teen, a European woman in her 30s engaged to a U.S. citizen who overstayed her visa when she was 21, and a woman engaged to a U.S. legal permanent resident with whom she has lived for 9 years. None of these women have a criminal record, according to a USA Today review of national law enforcement records. All were in an ongoing legal immigration process and felt comfortable enough boarding a domestic flight. Immigration agents sweep
swept each of them up at airport checkpoints in mid-February in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Neither ICE nor its parent agency, the Department of Homeland Security, responded to multiple requests for comment. Yep, that's racism. That's crazy. That dude's got to be kicking himself like, damn, man. All he had to do was just vote for Kamala. Because Kamala wasn't going to be doing none of that, was she, baby? She wasn't going to be doing none of that shit. All right, y'all, I'm going to pour Michelle a cup of coffee. Yeah. And I think we're going to take the dogs out for a little walk and then get our day started. All right, y'all. A French parliament member is demanding that the U.S. return the Statue of Liberty, claiming that America has lost its way and no longer stands for what the iconic sculpture represents. Yeah, wasn't it given to us by the French?
Yep.
See, Trump's got everyone else. It's like he's creating this pettiness.
Right. Even other countries are just like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah. He's treating the United States like it's his.
Right.
That's the problem. Like every president has their turn to but you don't get to come in there and just turn the world upside down, dude, because your ass hurt.
Right.
That's what he's doing. He's on a vengeance tour. This is frustrating. People can't see that.
I'm glad
You're glad he's stripping everything that you have?
Right.
And I agree with Don Lemon. He was on that Bill Maher. I used to like Bill Maher. I don't really fuck with Bill Maher no more. The more he talks, like his true colors come. He'll be saying some racist stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Or that's borderline racist. But Don Lemon was he was saying that black people that supported Trump, he basically saying it don't make sense.
Right.
He was explaining it different, but his point basically was those two don't go hand to hand.
Right.
They don't make sense. And there were some black people, I clicked on the comments, and there were some black people that were saying how, why didn't dude get canceled? And why, Don Lemon don't speak for it? Well, he speaks for me on that one. I agree with him.
Right.
Because we talk about that. I don't understand why any black person would support Trump. Just based off the fact that he's a racist.
Right.
That one main fact right there should just null and void anything else about him. Oh, well, dude's a racist, so I can't support him. It should be that fucking simple.
Because then other things that he does are basically racially motivated.
Yep. Everything he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's screwing over the white people. He's truly showing who he cares about. If you're not in his orbit, or a family member of his, or someone that he considers, he has to consider you to be ultra loyal to him. Because he even said when we played that clip of the interview with Charlie Rose, he was saying how he loves to get back at people.
Yeah.
And all that shit. That was back from the 90s, that interview. He said he enjoys getting vindicated and getting back at people. That's what he's doing. In that one clip we played where dude that on The Apprentice, there was that white guy, and he was basically saying how he wasn't calling himself white trash, but he was just saying he's basic. He doesn't need all this extravagant stuff. He doesn't need to be, you know what I mean? Just wants to live normal or whatever.
Right.
And so Trump was like, oh, you think you're white trash? I don't like that. He don't like nothing. Dude don't care about no one that's making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year, $30,000, $40,000 a year. That's so far from his orbit and his world. He don't give a fuck about nobody. Because if he did, him and his people wouldn't be doing all this stuff. Because it's affecting people.
It's affecting people's lives, like literally. But when someone is so far from your orbit and they don't care about you and they're just all about, you know, continuing to be rich and wealthy and get back at everyone that he feels done him wrong, like, he ain't thinking about the little guy.
Right.
All right, we're at the post office. We have to get some stamps. And then, oh, the gas station's right here, too. It's perfect. Go get cigarettes. Listen how this white boy talks to this lady cop. This shit's crazy as hell. This is an example of white privilege. Because if it was a black dude, or a Latin dude, or an Asian dude, or anyone with black or brown skin, they wouldn't be able to speak to that cop like that. And y'all know that. So, this is one of the reasons why we do this kind of stuff. Not just for fun or just to... because we enjoy seeing people get arrested and all that. What we trying to, like, show, like, the differences. So check this out. So there's, like, some confrontation going on, you know, with this white family and shit. They're, like, arguing and fussing with each other or whatever, right? That's kind of irrelevant. But I just want y'all to hear the interaction, right? So the police got this white lady and her boyfriend. They've been accused of arguing and making a lot of noise or whatever. But anyways, so the police are talking to them right there at their apartment complex. So it's his girlfriend and then him. And then the cops are sitting there, like, basically asking them what's going on or whatnot. So just listen to how he talks to her. All right.
You guys don't go inside with him.
I'm not kidding, dog.
Okay. Go inside with him.
You realize I'm fucking 400 pounds, dog.
Take a deep breath, guys. Obviously something's going on.
You realize, dog, I've been through this since I was 7 years old. I'm not dumb. Quit talking like I'm stupid.
I ain't calling you stupid. I'm asking what's going on. Obviously you guys are upset at each other.
No, shit. This is my dad, dude. You got problems.
Hey?
I've been through since I was 7, dude. I'm not dumb.
Listen, brother, you know what? I really, oh my God. Should I do it quick? Yeah, I'll quit.
We're trying to work with you, okay? Y'all could have already been at handcuffs, but you're not.
For what,
right?
though? For what, though?
Disorderly conduct. You're out here screaming and hollering.
See? And even the cop, the white cop's telling them, well, this is a different cop. He kind of came through and it's kind of like Bogart and shit. And he's just telling them, like, you guys are basically just, you know, we could have arrested you guys. We could have been doing all this and that to you. You know what I mean? He's pointing that out, that they're basically just letting them do whatever. Because y'all hear that white dude? He was just talking to that lady cop like, he probably talks to his mother that way and shit. Like, they don't, a lot of them white kids, like, young or like older, even some older, like white adult males, they don't have no manners. They say and do anything they want and shit like that and just talk to people all crazy and shit. And then when they like have run-ins with the cops, they like don't even respect or like obey any of the shit. You know what I mean? Because in their eyes, that's not a cop. That's not a person of authority or whatever you want to call them. They're seeing that as just like another white family member. They see that as like their dad or their mom, like trying to tell them what to do. And they're like, nah, fuck that. So they start cussing them out and shit too. Because that's just what they know. So bottom line is, some of y'all need to raise y'all kids better and teach them some manners and stuff.
Okay, in public. We got a complaint from your neighbor.
But that's
all right. Well, you want to go with them?
But there's no proof.
You need to close your mouth
I
and calm down. Oh, you're not?
Because I have not done anything wrong.
See what I'm saying? That's all. I just wanted to point that out. All right, I'm going to put on some, trying to tell y'all, Prince is better than Michael Jackson. Let's see. Trump's coming after global media places. Said Trump's order cuts to U.S.-backed global media. Let's see what they're talking about. This is Brian Stelter right here.
On administrative leave and has started to fire those employees. All those grant programs in Asia and Europe and Cuba and other places have also been shut down. For decades, this was a form of American soft power where news and democratic values were being exported to other countries. Today, Reporters Without Borders said, quote, authoritarian regimes such as Beijing and Moscow now have free rein to spread their propaganda unchecked. For Trump and his allies, this is about trying to shrink government. They say these outlets were bloated and biased. What we don't know is if they'll be reconstituted in some other form in the future. But for now, Voice of America has been rendered silent.
Wow. Brian Stelter, thank you for that. And still to come, Democrats hitting record low approval ratings. A CNN poll shows the party's favorability.
That's because they're fatigued as fuck. What are you supposed to run on if you're a Democrat? What are you supposed to run on? Do y'all realize how much, just think about it. Just think about it. For us Harris supporters, you know, just think about how much we're invested, all the conversations, all the explaining, all the stuff we're trying to tell people and all that stuff, right? Just think about all the people that went out and was knocking on doors and helping people out and helping people get registered and like all of that, right? And then for her to lose, it's just like, because I think a lot of people felt like, okay, Trump's clearly on bullshit. He's a racist. Like, he was just, all the stuff he was doing is like, he just gave you all the ammunition you needed to not support him. And I think, you know, also, too, like, I think a lot of the Democrats realize, like, okay, well, a black or brown person ain't gonna work. Like, if that was the time for a black or brown person to be president, that was it. You had a clear racist, stone cold ass racist individual up there, and we still couldn't get a black or brown person in there. Half the country didn't want a woman. Y'all didn't want Hillary. You know what I mean? You guys didn't want Kamala because she wasn't black enough. She wasn't this. She wasn't that. You know what I mean? So now, like, this is what we got. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people are still in that I told you so phase. But my point is, just imagine how we feel tapped out and how, like, we feel screwed over and fucked over and all that. Just imagine how the Democratic, like, lawmakers and the congressmen and the senator people, like, just all the people that live in that world and that do that stuff, and we're fighting the good fight every day, because we don't see and hear everything that they're doing, y'all. We don't. So they gotta be feeling 10 times what we do. They probably just out of fucking energy. Like, you feel like they don't have a foot to stand on. They have no power. And it seems like everything that they're saying is like not resonating. You know what I mean? And when you don't have any power, and it's like, what are you going to get up there and run on? You know, we try, like, Democrats, they're like the party for everyone. So they try to, you know, include everyone, speak up for everyone, try to fight for, you know, our rights and stuff like that. Do they get shit done all the time? No. But at least they're fighting and trying and speaking more of our language than Republicans are. And it didn't work. It wasn't good enough. And then you had people lying. Basically, you had white people saying they were going to support Harris, and they didn't. They lied. So there's a lot of that shit going on. People just feel screwed over and shit. If we're just being honest with it, there's not a whole lot to think about. So it's just like everything that a Democrat would run on or that we care about, is like it's not resonating. And when you don't have any power and control, it's just like, and then you throw the race card into it. I don't care what anybody says. Race plays a role in just about everything, or it can potentially. Look at everything that Trump's doing, cutting and shit like that. Yeah, what has he done as far as the economy? When has he got up there and talked about what he said he was going to do? Okay, we've been working on this, my first 40 days or whatever. We did this, and we got that done, and so blah, blah, blah. None of that shit. Dude ain't doing none of that shit. Dude's getting back, he's spending all his time golfing or getting back at people or cutting or firing something. That's all he has been doing. And y'all know that the fuck that's all he's been doing. So that's what I'm saying. What's a Democrat going to get up there and talk about with any kind of success? You can't go up there and say, I told you so, because people don't want to hear that when it's the truth. That's the thing. Like, it's like they want Democrats to get up there and be like, oh, we all need to just go out there and just be tougher and just come out there and say what it is. Y'all ain't going to have nobody doing it, especially can no black or brown person get up there talking about that. They'll get ran up out of there because white people are going to get offended. If a black or brown candidate, or if a true, honest, we like to say, call one of the good whites, were to get up there and run on the real shit and talk about how they're going to help the poor, I'm going to help the black and brown poor. We're going to get our cities fixed up. We're going to get the lead laterals out the ground. We're going to, if they were like speaking to us and for us and all that, white people would get turned off. That's what people seem to miss. Democrats can't get up there and just say what we want to say, because the majority of the country is white and they're going to get turned off by it. That's the truth. Because even some white people that would consider themselves liberal or more like Democrat leaning, even a handful of them will get offended. Y'all heard it. Well, that Adam Kinzinger, he's not a Democrat, but he voted for Harris. But y'all even heard that when the other day when Maxine Waters got up there and she was talking about, you know what I'm saying, what black people go through and all that stuff, and like how a lot of this shit is like affecting us and emotionally and all that kind of shit is going to fuck us up, losing our jobs and shit like that. And then it's like, basically she's saying that it's just like we can't really voice our opinions, because if we get too out of line, white people are going to get upset and they ain't going to want to hear it. They're trying to get rid of protesting. They want to make that illegal and shit now. So I'm saying all this shit, you know what I mean? So like if Democrats get up there and start running on other shit, what are they supposed to get up there? Because it seems like we're in this angry phase or something overall as a country. So it's like that's the phase that like this country's in. They want to see like the type of president that's all like just, you know what I mean? And it don't work like that. Right, baby? We're in our gangster phase of the country as presidents.
Yeah.
That's what I was just saying. It's tough. What's a Democrat really going to get up there and run on? Because nothing works. It seems like no one wants to hear it. And Democrats, like, they're stern on who they are. Include everyone, help everybody out. Why would you want to change that message?
Right.
But it seems like no one wants to hear it, and they're probably fatigued as fuck. We're fatigued from the presidential election. Just imagine how the Democrats that are up there fighting that and going through that shit every day. Imagine how they feel. Because people are, there's no leader. Where are the Democrats? They're fatigued. They feel fucked over.
And like,
it's that simple.
The only thing that like Democrats can, like, I guess they would just be like everything that he's doing right now, they have to run on doing the opposite. But it's a fine line because people are worried about the economy. So you can't be like, well, we're just going to undo everything he's doing because, what is it, like a 30%, he has 30% approval.
His approval rating is in the toilet.
Right. So, like, they have to somehow, like, build off that he's making the economy worse by what he's doing, but outlining what they would do to make it better.
But weren't they doing that, though, during the election?
They did it too late, I think.
Why? Says who, though?
says voters, I guess. Like, you know, when
Or
they polled people, they were like, you know, it was a little too late.
That's bullshit, y'all.
Right.
That's some bullshit, y'all. That is some bullshit. They just didn't like like I said, first of all, a lot of it just had to do with the racial stuff. And that they didn't want a woman up there because, like, a lot of white people just weren't trying to hear what she said, or they didn't believe her, they didn't trust her. Some black and brown people, she didn't say what she was going to do for black. Yes, she did. Y'all just didn't believe it. And then they were saying she came out and said it too late. That's because part of the reason she probably didn't think that she could come out there. No black candidate is going to think that they can confidently go up there and talk about what they're going to do specifically for black people. That's probably, at first, she was probably like, oh, shit. Right. And then when people were like, oh, you need to come out and just, that's when she was like, oh, okay, they want me to say what I'm going to do for black people. Right. Cool. And then when she did, now it's too late.
The other thing is, people are forgetting, she ran like a 2-year campaign in like 3 months.
Yes.
So, like, you know, the first month of her campaign was her getting momentum going, right? So you're really not talking about your plans or anything. You're just getting that out there.
Yeah.
And then, so I think a lot of people it might have been too, like, you know, a lot of people did early voting.
Oh, yeah.
And then she started rolling shit out. That's what I meant, like, might have been too late for some people. Because she started getting, like, real serious, like, the last 6 weeks, right? And people might have already, you know.
Like, fuck that.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I can't explain it, really. You know. But, like, they need to, like, lick the wounds, gather, and, like, go on a 3.5-year campaign tour like he did.
I agree.
That's how he got people.
You know what I would like to see? I would like to see, like, just me personally, I know everyone has their choices, but I would like to see AOC and Jasmine Crockett start just touring the country. And like you said now, and just, you don't even have to, like, give a whole long heads up, because people are going to show. You can say, hey, we're going to be coming to Milwaukee. Like, say it's Monday. Say, we're coming to Milwaukee Friday, AOC and me, we just want to know what you guys, you know?
Right. Even if you're not, like, entertaining the idea of running, you have to start getting people thinking, like, what he's doing is not right, and we don't want another 4 years of continued bullshit after he's gone. So, like, you need to start getting people the people that are still thinking, oh, it's all right. You have to get those people to start believing what other people like us believe, that, like, this is fucked up. Because if you start doing that now, by the time the election comes around, they are not going to want a Republican.
I don't think not anyone. I don't think a lot of people do now. They just aren't going to admit it out loud.
Right, but you have to keep building on that. That's what he was doing all this time.
I don't know if he was
just
really
bashing Biden, bashing anybody who, like, wasn't conservative.
But remember when after he lost, he went silent for a while.
For a bit, yeah. But
he went silent as hell, and then I think he was
the last 2.5 years, he was holding rallies. Remember, he was like, that election was stolen. He went on this, like, a concert tour about how the election was stolen from him.
I don't think he would have even needed to do any of that, though. Dude could have waited a couple months before, like, whenever the primary or whenever all that shit started. He could have been like, I'm running, and his people would have came right back out.
Right.
So they were like, yeah, this shit is just, Anyways, meanwhile on the ranch, what you think you want for dinner tonight?
I have to go to my mom's.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Michelle's going for her St. Patty's Day. She wasn't going to go, but then she decided to go on and do it because Michelle don't eat corned beef. I still got some from yesterday. Mom gave us a pretty decent amount. But I don't eat the cabbage, so that's going to... Man. I'm going to have to throw it out.
Cabbage?
Yeah. Sorry, Ma, if you're listening to this episode. I'm going to finish all the corned beef and the potatoes and the carrots, but I probably won't mess with the cabbage. Yep.
And that's okay.
Yeah, I've never liked cabbage, but I'm not going to be like, oh, you know what I mean? You just, you take what they give you and you appreciate it and you just...
I mean, you're not going to be like, can you pick out the cabbage?
Right, that's a lot.
Right, so my mom was like, oh, well, you can have the potatoes and cabbage. And I was like, but it's tainted with the corned beef flavor, so why would I eat that? Because she cooks it all together.
Just end up just running into each other, yeah.
And then she offered me, she was like, oh, well, we have leftover pot roast. She made that last Monday.
Like, I'm going to go home with a stomach ache.
And I was like, I'll just make a sandwich or something.
and just kick it with y'all.
Maybe I'll just make like a fried egg sandwich over there or something. I'm really just going there to visit.
You want me to make you a fried egg sandwich? You hungry now?
No, I'm not hungry.
Okay. I had one earlier. Oh, there's still eggs in there too for you if you decide. Oh, nice. Yeah, I made a little omelet. Y'all heard me making the breakfast earlier in the episode. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. We'll get back to the episode.